Hey guys, welcome back to the New Critic, and today we're going to be looking at Season 6 of Supernatural. So, after Season 5 should have ended the show, the CW network decided to renew it for a 6th season, because it was still very popular, I guess. And if the show was going to keep going, it needed some kind of roadmap, or some kind of idea, in terms of what directions it was heading into, and did they do that? Not really. I guess they were just planning the show one season at a time. Now, if the show really wanted to keep going, I guess it's not a bad thing, but it's been more than a decade after they decided to do so, and everything about the show has gotten kind of old. There was even another opportunity for them to end the show in season 11, and they didn't do that. But that being said, this is still an enjoyable season. And while there are elements of this season that definitely have no impact on the later seasons, you can still enjoy it for what it is. So basically, Sam and Dean are reunited, and they have more threats to deal with. Crowley from season 5 is now the king of hell, and things aren't going to be the same now that he's in control. But it's far more complicated than that. So firstly, I enjoyed Dean's character arc. He goes from being this typical family man, he's living with Lisa and a son Ben, and then he goes back to his old ways of hunting. I like the fact that some of the characters aren't completely open about everything. Some of them have something to hide. There are some new characters like Sam and Dean's grandfather, Samuel Campbell, and some other members of the Campbell family. Crowley has a bigger role this season, and there are some other returning characters like Castiel and Bobby, and there's also a new villain in the form of the mother of all. But we'll get to that in a bit. There were some genuinely entertaining filler episodes as well. There's one that kind of pokes fun at the Twilight Saga, and being somebody who despises Twilight, I actually enjoyed that episode. There's a Western themed episode called Frontierland, and it's one of the most memorable episodes of the show, especially if you like Westerns. They also introduce something called Purgatory, which is basically the afterlife for monsters. We don't really get to see it until later on in the series, but I like the fact that this season begins the build-up, leading to our eventual introduction to Purgatory later on. They also kind of took a back-to-basics approach with this season. Most of the episodes would be self-contained, although there would be a major story arc stringing them together. And the finale was good for the most part, but there's just one issue I have with it, which we'll get to in a bit. Now, this season is not perfect. The biggest issue I have is that the potential with the Mother of All storyline was kind of wasted. It takes too long to introduce this particular arc, and it's only in a handful of episodes. And it kind of made the season feel a bit unfocused, because like the first half, there's something very important which I don't want to spoil, but that takes up the entire first half, and the Mother of All doesn't really show up until the second half. And then there are other elements that are tied in with that, which are introduced towards the end, and that's fine. But the actual character herself, she could have had more of an impact on the show. And like I said, the finale was great, but the one issue I have with it is that it takes too long to get to what we all want to see. It starts off with something else that feels unnecessary and could have been better off as, its own standalone filler episode, and they just kind of chained it with this finale and it felt weird. It was compelling, but they could have spent less time on that and more time on what we wanted to see. Or it could have been a longer episode. Who knows? So there's actually quite a few episodes that you can get away with skipping, but don't worry, there isn't too many of these episodes. So here's the list. So yeah, that was my review of Season 6 of Supernatural. It's definitely better than most people say it is, in my opinion, but it's still one of my least favorite seasons. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Next time we will be looking at Season 7 of Supernatural, aka the Leviathan season, which was kind of a low point for the show. If you've watched Season 7, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe, and hit the notification icon. Stay safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.